We are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started. To win this and to defeat the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York takes effort from beginning to end. Today was a major, major step in the right direction, but we fight on, and we're going to win, and we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison a free man to his family.
Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs celebrating a win in court, a split verdict from the jury in the federal sex trafficking trial. Not guilty on the most serious charge of racketeering conspiracy. The judge denying bail. Combs will stay behind bars, the jury finding the rapper guilty on 2 of the 5 charges. A lawyer for Cassie Ventura saying Combs facing justice might never have happened if it wasn't for his client's bravery. She filed a civil complaint in 2023. Renee Williams joins us now, CEO of the National Center for Victims of Crime. From where you sit, Renee, what's your reaction to the verdict and the larger message it sends?
Well, I think Cassie's attorney said it correctly. He never would have faced any type of justice had it not been from her bravery. However, I'd be lying if I wasn't saying this wasn't a huge disappointment to all of us. I've been watching my LinkedIn and my social media and some of our listservs in the field, in the victim services field, and this feels like a massive blow. We've worked so hard to tell women to come forward. We have worked so hard to encourage women to report their abusers. And this jury's verdict just reinforces the idea that women are not listened to and women are not believed.
So much of this, Renee, seemed to focus and zero in on the idea of consent. What are your thoughts on that? And some who have argued that, you know, once a woman consents, this basically proves that she's not allowed to change her mind.
I think we've been arguing that for 50 years. What is disturbing is we had more evidence of non-consent in this case than in many of the cases we see for trafficking. You know, we had a video of Diddy brutalizing Cassie, and some people say, you know, Mark Garagos, the attorney, said that doesn't prove anything more than he's a bad person. Well, that's wrong. What that proves is that he's an abuser and that he takes power over women. And so if we are not finding that there was force somewhere in this, even Cassie said, I did these freak-offs because I felt like they were my job. She lived in a state of fear. And so I think if video evidence like that does not prove that he was forcing her to do these things, then we need to really look at who we are as a society when it comes to what we talk about with the word consent.
You know, there were a lot of people watching this, reading the testimony every single day, particularly women who may be in dangerous situations. What is your message to them that are fearful, that feel cornered, and are stuck in an abusive relationship?
Despite cases like this, despite verdicts like this, there are ways out, and you are always safer if you are out of that relationship. So find somebody you trust, report it to the police, go to a safe shelter, get out of the relationship as soon as you can, because there is a way to find safety, despite what the jury found here.
Is there any power or any solace if Sean Diddy Combs were to come out and say, what I did was wrong?
I don't think so, because that's still not a level of accountability. He's not facing any type of punishment. We saw his apology video how many months ago when the video of Cassie came out. I found his apology even more offensive because he was saying, I'm sorry I did this one thing this one time. And that video showed he was way too comfortable with abusing somebody in a very public space for that to have been the first time he did it.
For women who are stuck, what are the greatest barriers, the challenges that they face in coming forward in seeking help?
I think oftentimes the truth of the matter is there's not immediate safety. Reporting, we've done several studies at the National Center on reporting these crimes, and oftentimes women's experience reporting these crimes is even more terrifying than staying at home. They have police that don't believe them, and then their abuser is notified that they've reported, and they become in an even more dangerous situation. So I think the message for them is get out of the relationship, but there is hope in the long run.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.